The 2025 Formula One title fight has reached its boiling point, and the center of the storm now involves three heavyweights: Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and Max Verstappen. All three are locked in a razor-tight battle for the World Championship, but from Qatar, Verstappen has thrown the boldest punch of the season. Not on track this time, with words. In a strikingly direct statement, Verstappen openly urged Oscar Piastri to resist any team orders from McLaren. His message was unmistakable: Piastri should tell McLaren FK off *** if they ask him to help Norris secure the title. For Verstappen, a driver's integrity is more valuable than a team's political agenda. The Norris-Piastri rivalry has shaped the entire 2025 season. For most of the year, Piastri held the upper hand until a late-season collapse allowed Norris to seize control. With 24 points in hand and only 2 races remaining, Norris is close to his first world title. But Verstappen, rising from a quiet mid-season, has rejoined the fight after winning in Las Vegas, putting him level on points with Piastri. The drama escalated after the Las Vegas GP, where both McLaren cars were disqualified, erasing their P2 and P4 finishes. That moment reshuffled the championship picture and unleashed pressure on McLaren to consider team orders. Could they sacrifice Piastri's chances to protect Norris from Verstappen? McLaren denies it. But Verstappen has turned that denial into a psychological weapon. Speaking in Qatar, he said, "It's perfect. I think you cannot do a better job than allowing them to race as well, because why would you suddenly say that Oscar is no longer allowed?" To him, a true racer does not accept limitations that kill their own title hopes. He continued, "If that was said to me, I would not wobble. I would tell them to go. So yes, if you are a true winner in a race, as a driver, then you should keep pushing even if you're behind." This is not just a critique of McLaren. It is a veiled challenge to Oscar himself. Verstappen is implying that obeying team orders is equivalent to surrendering. He sharpened the point further. Otherwise, what's the point of showing up? If not, you can easily label yourself as a number 2 driver, and I don't think he wants that. With himself now tied on points with Piastri, Verstappen believes the fight should remain completely open. Verstappen also addressed the Las Vegas disqualifications, an incident that, intentionally or not, revived his championship campaign. He revealed that he learned about it while flying home. Reflecting on the skid block violation, he said, "I knew of course there was some sort of investigation. When you are too low, then you are too low." He added that while teams can debate the rule, the reality stands. It's the same with any other rule in the sport. Unfortunately, that's how it is. The gap came down a little bit, but it's still 24 points. Even so, he admits the situation has shifted. A lot of things have to go well until the end to have a chance, but this is clearly a better chance than before. But then comes the statement that shows exactly why Verstappen remains the most dangerous man in this title fight. "We will give everything we have. We have nothing to lose." And that is precisely what makes him lethal. As the Qatar weekend begins, the championship has transformed into a psychological war. Norris leads. Piastri is stuck between loyalty and personal ambition. And Verstappen stands in the shadows, free of pressure, free of restraint, and ready to exploit any crack inside McLaren. Beyond the immediate controversy surrounding team orders, the Qatar weekend also highlights a deeper structural tension within McLaren and the broader championship landscape. The Norris-Piastri or Verstappen dynamic has evolved into one of the most complex three-way title fights in recent seasons, raising questions not only about performance but also about strategic direction, driver hierarchy, and long-term team identity. For McLaren, the situation is increasingly delicate. While publicly denying the use of team orders, the organization faces rising scrutiny over whether allowing both drivers to race freely could jeopardize their best opportunity to secure a world championship for the first time since 2008. Analysts note that this season has exposed contrasting driving philosophies inside the team, with Norris and Piastri approaching pressure and race management with noticeably different styles. In that context, Verstappen's comments in Qatar function as more than a provocation. They serve as a pointed reminder of how internal dynamics can shape championship outcomes. By suggesting that Piastri should tell the team to FK off *** if asked to support Norris, Verstappen introduced a new angle into the discussion: the psychological impact of perceived favoritism within McLaren. Experts argue that such remarks could influence how Piastri interprets any internal instruction, whether real or rumored, during the critical final rounds. With Verstappen now level on points with Piastri, the Australian's response to pressure may play a decisive role in determining not only the title fight but also McLaren's future approach to intra-team competition. Meanwhile, Norris carries the burden of expectation. Leading by 24 points, he is in a position to clinch his maiden World Championship without relying on external factors. However, Verstappen's late-season surge and McLaren's disqualification in Las Vegas have made the margin feel less secure than the standings suggest. Observers within the paddock note that the psychological pressure on Norris has intensified, especially after Verstappen framed the remaining races as an opportunity where we have nothing to lose. That mindset, combined with Red Bull's improved late-season performance, places additional weight on McLaren's operational decisions. The team must balance fairness, transparency, and the practical necessity of avoiding an internal clash that could hand the championship to Verstappen. The debate intensified after Verstappen commented on the Las Vegas skid block disqualification, noting, "When you are too low, then you are too low." His direct assessment underscores a broader sentiment among rival teams, that compliance with technical regulations becomes even more critical in a tight championship battle. The incident decreased Norris's margin and effectively reopened a title fight that might otherwise have been out of reach. As the field prepares for the Qatar Grand Prix, the narrative has shifted from simple mathematics to strategic resilience. McLaren must demonstrate that it can manage a dual title challenge without destabilizing its internal structure. Piastri faces questions about how assertively he will defend his own championship hopes. Norris must maintain consistency under the spotlight. And Verstappen continues to apply pressure from a position where setbacks carry limited consequences. The remainder of the season will test not only the pace of the cars but also the clarity of decision-making within the teams. With small margins and rising tension, the championship may be decided as much by strategic discipline as by outright speed. In the hours following Verstappen's remarks, the paddock quickly recognized the broader implications. His statement, "If that was said to me, I would tell them to go," is now being interpreted as a direct challenge to the culture of team control in modern Formula One. Analysts suggest this quote could pressure McLaren into maintaining a completely neutral approach, especially as Piastri navigates his own championship ambitions. Another line gaining traction among observers is Verstappen's assessment of Piastri's identity as a competitor. Otherwise, you can easily label yourself as a number 2 driver. This remark has intensified the spotlight on McLaren's internal structure, raising questions about whether the team can afford even the perception of unequal treatment between its drivers. Meanwhile, Verstappen's comment on the technical disqualification in Las Vegas, "When you are too low, then you are too low," has also shifted the narrative. It highlights the fine margins defining this year's championship and reinforces the idea that procedural precision may decide the title as much as raw performance. As the Qatar weekend approaches, these quotes have become central to the developing story. They frame Verstappen not only as a title contender but also as a key influencer in how both McLaren drivers interpret the final phase of the season. And with the gap at just 24 points, every word and every decision now carries championship weight.